I'm Morgan Dreamus with RT Book Reviews, and I'm here today with Richelle Mead. And people know you best from a couple of things. You've got urban fantasy for adults, urban fantasy for YA, young adults. You also have graphic novels, and you sold movie rights to some of your books. So we kind of see you in all different forms.
Yeah, it's been exciting. I never realized when I wrote that first book what was going to sort of spread out from there. So far it's just been books, but this year we're looking to see the graphic novel expansion. And of course movies are always a little nebulous. You know, we don't know what's going to happen with that, but the fact that it's even a possibility is pretty exciting.
Well, at RT, we love to always get the phenomenons. We love to talk to people who seem to really break out and grab those fans and really catch our attention. And you're definitely one of those people. I remember we're at the RT convention now. Last year's RT convention, I was interviewing some of the readers, and we had lots of young adult readers there. And every single one of them I talked to said, "I'm here for Richelle Mead. I need to talk with her." We had to move tables for you because your line was so long because there were so many people.
Right.
When did you know that this became, okay, I'm just writing, I'm getting published, this is good too. I've got these fans, they're hungry for more. When was that moment for you that you were like, wow, this has really happened?
It's been more gradual than you would think. After my second YA book came out, Frostbite, that was kind of the moment where I realized the series was starting to attract attention. You can watch the sales numbers, but really the good thermometer is email. And suddenly from that book, I just started getting email after email, looking forward to the next one. Wow, this book really changed my life, made me think. And that's when you start to get those kinds of fan reactions, that's when you realize that it's seizing hold. And Frostbite was my first New York Times bestseller book, and I actually got the news at RT. I was at the RTCon in Pittsburgh a few years ago, sitting in the bar with people when I got the phone call that the book had hit the list. So yeah, the series kind of has a long history with RT. And from there, each subsequent book just slowly, again, it sneaks up on you. It's amazing. You start off with 50 people at a signing. Next time it's 100. Next time it's 150. And suddenly you look and you get the lines like last year and you think, where did that come from? It's amazing.
Now with the YA series you're talking about, that is a vampire series, which we
Yes.
all know is very, very hot right now. Can you tell me what makes your vampire series maybe a little bit different from the other ones that we're seeing?
It draws from Romanian mythology, this idea that there are actually two kinds of vampires walking the world, the living, kind of peaceful ones, and then the undead ones who are sort of what you expect from a vampire. They prey on the weak, they're evil, they can't go out in sunlight. And so what makes this interesting is you've got these two very distinct cultures and personalities of vampires living secretly amongst the human world, and then the series kind of follows their interactions with each other.
So Vampire Academy, it is set in an academy.
Yes,
and I think,
as the title suggests.
And I think that a lot of young adult readers can maybe, they might not be in an academy, but of course they go to school. Do you think that's maybe how they connect with Rose? Is that there is some grounding there for what they go through themselves?
I think so, but I think it's less the school aspect than just the character of Rose, because she is someone who's always trying to balance her own personal wants with what society is telling her. People are always telling her, you need to behave this way, you need to control yourself, and at the same time she has this impulsive, rebellious streak, and especially when it comes to people she loves, she wants to be there and she doesn't care about the consequences. She needs to protect these people. And I think readers are drawn to her for both sides of that. A lot of people relate to that sort of balance between what I want and what others want of me. Whether you're a teen or adult, we've all kind of got that conflict, and so they relate in that way. And then a lot of people just love that fierceness she has, that willingness to do anything for her friends, and people either relate to that or want to relate to that. I get a lot of email from people, I wish I could stand up like that. And a lot of people say, reading that made me do that. It made me stronger and more outgoing.
I think that's one of the great things about young adult novels is it can be aspirational for the teens that read them, and they can really look up to those characters and realize who they want to be. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So from young adult, you also have your urban fantasy novels, the succubus novels, and that's for adult readers.
Correct.
Although I'm sure you have some crossover there.
We're starting to, yeah. I read another adult series as well, Dark Swan, and now that Vampire Academy's been out for, almost 4 years, some of those readers are...
Those 14-year-olds are now 18.
they're growing up. Yeah, they're moving on. That's kind of funny.
And vice versa. We have, I know at RT we get a lot of fan mail saying, I'm an adult, but I can't get enough teen reads. They're just they're just fabulously written. They've got great characters. Why wouldn't I pick these books up?
Yeah, it's fascinating to see the just crossover with age groups, and you really can't tell at a signing based on someone's age in line what book they're there for.
That's really interesting. Okay, so we've got different series that you write for. So, and I know that each one of them has something really exciting coming up. Can you talk a little bit about the projects you have going on right now?
Yeah, there's all kinds of things. So my first series was an adult one, the Georgina Kincaid Succubus series, and that is coming to an end this summer. August 30th, the last book in that series will be out. It's called Succubus Revealed, and that will finally wrap up her story, her tales of woe and love and all of that. So I think that's going to be nice for readers. People are going to be sad to see her go, but she kind of deserves an ending after everything she's been through in this series. Dark Swan, my other adult series, its third book just came out, so we're still kind of fresh off that. That's called Iron Crowned. And then it's being turned into a graphic novel this summer, which is just fantastic. The artwork's beautiful. It just really captures it. And it'll be...
You know, the artwork, I've actually heard people say that the main character looks a little like you.
They did, and it's funny because there's a poster here at RT that has my name next to some image from the art, from the comic. And it's meant to just advertise the comic, but it looks like someone did a caricature of me. But it's really great, and it's going to be released in comic book issues this summer starting in May, so people can look for that. And then lastly, Vampire Academy has two cool things going on. It's also being turned into a graphic novel, and that'll be out August 23rd. And the same day, double bonus day for vampire fans, Bloodlines will be out, which is the spin-off to Vampire Academy. Technically, Vampire Academy has ended, but I don't feel like it has, because Bloodlines is just kind of a continuation with the same characters. We have a new narrator and a new plot line, but people who love the world can still keep going with it.
Well, you got to give me just a little bit of spoilers for that book. Can you give us a little taste of maybe what we're going to see?
Yeah, this isn't too spoilery. This is kind of out there. It's the narrator is going to be Sydney, who is our lone human character from the Vampire Academy series. And so, what's fun about this? There's a couple things. Sydney's a much more reserved character than Rose. You know, Sydney doesn't go out and throw punches on people. And she also gives us a different look at the vampire world. We've been looking from the inside out because we've been with Rose, who is deeply enmeshed in this culture, and Sydney's an outsider who has to deal with vampires, not always by choice. She doesn't always like them, and so I think it's going to be neat for people to get this sort of new perspective on the characters and the culture they've gotten used to. You know, what does an outsider think of it? What does a human think of it?
Looking at the world from an outsider perspective, what changed in your mind? What surprised you maybe about the characters or the world that you didn't know before focusing in on Sydney?
There was kind of a transition for me to start thinking that, you know, it's kind of weird to be drinking blood. I mean, I think that personally, of course. I have no interest in that whatsoever. But you get so used to it, writing from a vampire's perspective, you know, and in fact, I wanted that in the Vampire Academy series, to just be such a normal part of their routine. And for Sydney, I often have to catch myself thinking, okay, what would she do? And she often has an aversion to a lot of this stuff, but at the same time, she's always trying to be diplomatic because she's in this sort of liaison role between vampires and humans. But you know, she sees this going on, and you know, her instinct, she wants to run, she wants to leave, get away from this, but she kind of has to suffer through it. And that's been a big mindset to sort of shift away from, oh, this is normal life, to, oh my God, this is kind of weird.
Okay, one last question I have to ask you, and that is, you write several otherworldly creatures. I have to ask you, out of all of them, what's your favorite? And if you had to choose one next that you haven't written about, what's maybe another paranormal creature that you'd stick into one of your series or books?
So my favorite? Probably, I have kind of mixed opinions on this, but I love Georgina the succubus. I hate her job. I would not want to be damned to seducing men for eternity.
Right,
But I love the shape-shifting idea. I do not like styling my hair in the morning. How easy would that be to just, like, oh, this is what we're doing today. So I do kind of envy her for that. Nothing else about her job, certainly. As far as future projects, especially because my adult series are both ending within the next year, I think what I would like to do next is less like, okay, here's our creature du jour, let's drop them in the human world. I'd kind of like to work in some mythology, some tradition, and kind of start weaving that into the urban fantasy context.
Right.
And
well, I know you, when you went to college, you actually were in comparative religion.
Yeah.
Was one of your majors that you focused on.
Mm-hmm.
I can assume, reading your books, you really do see some of that maybe coming through.
Yeah, both academically and personally, I've always just loved mythology and folklore, and so I would love to not just import some creature, but just have that whole tradition sort of woven into a story, which is an ambitious project, but we'll see. We'll see how that goes.
I'm sure your fans will just love whatever comes next.
They're great. I say this all the time, and I mean it. I do have the best fans and readers out there, and I made a joke recently that, I don't know if they're going to follow me if I ever switch genres. Not that that's on my horizon, but I made a joke, maybe I'll just start writing historicals. And all these people wrote in, they said, we'll read whatever you write. And, it was just a joke, but it's so funny because that's the dedication that's out there, and they're lovely. I'm very lucky.
Well, I can attest. I've met your fans, and we're fans at RT,
Oh,
and we
you.
will read whatever you have next.